Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Vice President Kashim Shettima is to lead Nigeria's delegation to the 2024 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting as directed by President Bola Tinubu. Vice President Kashim Shettima will join King Charles of England and other world leaders from 56 member countries at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting scheduled for October 21 to 26 at the Pacific small island of Apia, Saoma. They are expected to deliberate on the theme One Resilient Common Future, Transforming our Commonwealth, focusing attention on how member countries can harness their strength through resilience and unlocking potential at the meeting. Nigeria and other member countries would also elect and appoint the next Commonwealth Secretary General in line with the agreed Memorandum of Establishment and functions of the Commonwealth Secretariat and the principle of regional rotation. The next Commonwealth Secretary General will come from the African region. The adoption of various strategies and synergy between security agencies in addressing all forms of insecurity in the country have been identified as driving force behind successes recorded in the fight against banditry and kidnapping in the northwest. Minister of Defense Muhammadu Badr Abubakar noted this while on an official working visit to military formations in Kaduna. Haruna Mohammed reports.
Out of 7 states in the northwest has been battling with banditry, kidnapping for ransom with adverse consequences on social and economic growth. Federal and affected states governments are putting their act together to combat the problem. Minister of Defense Muhammad Badr Abubakar, while in Kaduna, took time to visit the air and maritime component of Operation Fansan Yamma to take stock of joint operation activities and provide moral support for officers and men to sustain operational momentum. While acknowledging the recent success of the troops, the minister asked them not to only remain vigilant but ensure supremacy in firepower in addition to take the fight to criminals' hideouts.
It's time to end it. It's been lingering for too long, and really it is time to end it. And like I've said, the president is committed in providing us all what that we need to end this thing. And from what you have seen from the troop, they are charged and they are ready and they are willing to end insecurity. I call on the people to be vigilant, to open their eyes and ears and report all suspected cases of terrorism or banditry.
As the troops are in high spirits, they are expected to comb the criminal hideout and smoke them out. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
To maritime security, the Nigerian Navy has highlighted border incentives for maritime security cooperation at the just concluded 5th Sea Power for Africa Symposium in Cape Town, South Africa. Outlining the vast resources within Africa's maritime domain, the Chief of the Naval Staff in his address underscored its potential to generate more than $405 billion by 2030, including $100 million by coastal tourism, with the capacity to create more than 57 million jobs across the continent. The naval chief notes that Africa's maritime future is guided by the African Integrated Maritime Strategy, which seeks to foster wealth creation by developing an ocean economy within a secured maritime domain. Nigeria's participation has been hailed as significant as this vision is further supported by the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is projected to increase intra-African freight by 28% and demand for maritime transport by 62%. Now, the police is intensifying efforts to curb criminality to the barest in Akwa Ibom State. Already, there are successes recorded, and the latest is the arrest and parade of 12 suspects for various crimes, including murder and cultism by the command. Umo Basi Edet reports.
Parading the 12 suspects, the Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Joseph Eribo, says they were arrested for various crimes ranging from murder, cultism to armed robbery and stealing.
Police of the command while on patrol along Calabar Itu Road saw 4 men on one bike. The team immediately swung into action, pursued them and arrested 2. The arrested suspect confessed and led the command operative to their armed supplier, who was arrested, and the following items were recovered from him: 2 locally made long guns, 2 live cartridges, 12 refilled cartridges, 4 empty shells to be refilled, 1 sack containing gunpowder, 1 container of carbide.
The police commissioner says the command has declared red alert on crime and urges residents to give necessary information to help the police tackle same.
All those arrested, we are going to investigate them and prosecute them. No stone will be left unturned. Ours, we have the onerous task to keep the state safe for law-abiding citizens. And anybody who wants to try our will and resolve, we find it very hot in the arms of the law.
The suspects are to be charged to court while investigations are ongoing to arrest those still at large. In Uyo, Umo Basedet, NTA News.
Meanwhile, 2 businessmen as well as a Canada-based nurse have been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, for attempting to import different types of illicit drugs. Salal Khalil brings us details.
One of the suspects, who frequents Thailand from where he claims to be importing fish into Nigeria, was arrested on Tuesday, 15 October 2024, while attempting to board a flight to Thailand. When he was taken for body scan, the result showed he ingested illicit drug, which proved to be cocaine. As a result, he was placed under excretion observation, during which he expelled 5 egg-size wraps of cocaine weighing 400 grams. In the same vein, a 26-year-old businessman also excreted a pellet of cocaine weighing 22 grams. The suspect revealed that he was to be paid 2.5 million naira for trafficking the drug. Meanwhile, a Nigerian-Canadian nurse was on 4th October arrested by NDLEA officers at the Lagos airport during a search of her luggage, a total of 70 parcels of Canadian loud weighing 35.70 kilograms. During her interview, she claimed she was in Nigeria to meet her boyfriend, who instructed her to come with the consignment, which is highly sought after. Meanwhile, a total of 162,351 bottles of codeine-based syrup were intercepted from 2 containers at the Apapa Seaport on Tuesday, 15 October at Port Harcourt Complex, One, Rivers State on Tuesday, 15 October. Different strain and quantities of illicit drugs were intercepted in different parts of the country during the week under review. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
In other news, the National Orientation Agency has charged Nigerians to imbibe the tenets of the new national anthem and national values charter as critical agents in establishing the identity of Nigeria for both local and international strength. The Director General of the agency, Issa Onilu, stated this at the launch of the National Identity Project tagged 7 to 7 in Ado-Ekiti. Olukemi Sani has details.
The Director General, represented by Director Political and Civic Education, Ethics and Values Orientation, Adeola Adelaja, said the social contract between the country and its people is the pivot upon which a nation is built and sustained. The 7 to 7 concept, she said, spelled out the duties of the government to the citizens, which include equality, democracy, peace and security, entrepreneurship and employment, while the citizens' codes, she said, include discipline, tolerance, respect, resilience, and environmental awareness.
Nigerians are either noted for negativity, but we are saying the narrative should be changed and can be changed, because that does not define us. That is not who we are. And if we want to build a good Nigeria that we all will be proud of, the attitude of Nigerians should be changed towards the programs and activities of the government.
The core values refer to the moral principle, common belief, and practices that are characteristic of a citizen of a nation.
They observed that it is only through commitment to these values that Nigerians can achieve the country of their dreams, while calling on children, school administrators, and the citizens to join hands in the task of promoting a culture that values discipline, responsibility, and national pride. In Ado-Ekiti, Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Orientation Agency also launched a sensitization campaign in Bayelsa State. The event, part of a nationwide drive aimed at revamping the culture of respect for the national anthem, as well as other national symbols and values. Ifoma Aihoje reports.
In line with its statutory duties of social mobilization, awareness creation and value orientation, the National Orientation Agency is unfolding its new mandate strategies by inspiring Nigerians and relevant institutions through societal engagement and community mobilization to resuscitate Nigeria's socio-economic growth and strengthen the democratic institutions.
The next part of the strategy, and most important to me and why we are here today, is to enlist the support of partners and collaborative agencies, which is the reason we are here with you today. We want to leverage on the public confidence and trust you have built over the years in taking our message to all Nigerians in all its nooks and crannies.
The campaign will involve advocacy, town hall meetings, focal group meetings, and media engagement, as well as rallies, roadshows, and online engagements. Indeed, the agency will leave no stone unturned in taking the message to Nigerians.
The press conference afforded members of the fourth estate of the realm in Bayelsa State the privilege to draw clarity on issues bordering on national symbols and other government programs and policies. In Yanagua, Ifoma Aihoje, NTA News.
For more on the campaign on national values, let's join Abubakar in our Maiduguri Network Center. Hello, Abubakar.
That's true, Elizabeth. Good to see you. In an effort to promote unity, national values and development, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has launched a nationwide sensitization program focusing on the national anthem and 7-for-7 initiative of the National Values Charter. Pauline Kujivana reports that the event was attended by media professionals and stakeholders.
The sensitization program, which is to be executed in a span of 6 months, will feature a variety of activities, including press conferences, social media engagements, visitation to schools and town hall meetings, among others. Director of PRS NOAA, Nura Kobi Yusuf, who represented Director General Larry Isa Onilu, highlighted that the initiative aimed to enlighten Nigerians towards values that foster unity, pride, and a shared sense of purpose. He also emphasized that the policies and programs of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are being implemented to alleviate hardship in Nigeria. During the discussions with media professionals, he announced plans to recruit and train 1,000 children across various states on national values and the charter, along with the development of a curriculum for schools.
Even Mr. President have realized that a lot of people are suffering because of some of the policies that are being implemented in this country. But despite this hardship, a government have come up with a lot of policies that will cushion the effect of this hardship.
NOAA remains committed in promoting a cohesive and informed society. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
In a related development, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, in Gombe State has kicked off a sensitization campaign to promote the new national anthem and national values charter. Abbas Meikano reports that the campaign involves traditional and religious leaders, among other stakeholders.
This initiative aims to foster unity among Nigerians, with stakeholders, religious leaders, and constituents coming together to support the cause. State Director of the National Orientation Agency, Mrs. Adrinwai Patari, emphasizes the importance of embracing the newly approved national anthem, highlighting the first stanza to be sung at all official functions, while all three stanzas will be reserved for special occasions like Independence Day and Democracy Day.
It serves as a reminder of our shared journey and the aspirations that unite us. Our national anthem is more than a song. It is a fine call that resonates with our shared history, struggles, triumphs, and aspirations.
NOAA also plans to recruit 1,000 youth to promote the National Values Charter in schools towards extending its reach to the grassroots.
In a situation whereby you go, on any occasion, you see the national anthem was reciting, and people were making noise, moving here and there without respecting that national anthem, which is not supposed to be so.
Stakeholders at the campaign described the National Values Charter as promoter of national unity, cohesion and social harmony, as well as moral and ethical standards among citizens. In Gombe, Abbas Meikano, NTA News.
This is nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Hingino John Adams in Lagos has the next set of reports for us, but that will be right after this break.
Welcome to Lagos. In line with the renewed Hope Sustainable Transport Cooperative Program of President Bola Tinubu, the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative has started handing over of 1,500 CNG-powered tricycles, popularly known as Keke Napep, to cooperative societies across the country. Bolaji Akim reports.
It is another success story by the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative in its determination to ensure that every citizen of the country have access to cleaner, cheaper, safer, and more reliable means of transportation. The intervention, driven in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Labour, will provide CNG-powered tricycle to registered cooperatives across the country free of charge.
They are required to operate it sustainably. That means they will still collect transportation fare, but of course at reduced rate from the public.
Minister of Labour and Employment, who was represented, explained that apart from improving transportation of goods and services in rural communities, the tricycles will also serve as a transformative approach to empowering rural dwellers.
We are excited to produce CNG-powered tricycles that will serve as a lifeline for many, offering not only mobility but also economic opportunity for thousands of Nigerians.
While promising to ensure the proper utilization of the CNG tricycle, the representative of one of the benefiting cooperatives assures that this will bring down the cost of transportation in the rural communities, with an appeal for the establishment of CNG refill centers in rural areas.
Where they are taking 400 because of his compressed natural gas, will make sure that they take 200. So that at the end of the day, we'll be able to recoup and make the keke to be on board.
60 cooperatives from all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country will benefit from the first batch of the exercise. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Social media is no doubt a powerful tool that can make or mar depending on how it is used. It serves as a platform for connection, teaching and learning, among others. But its misuse can threaten peaceful coexistence, thereby fueling division and inciting violence. Correspondent takes a look at the impact of negative use of social media.
Recently, a story which aired years ago resurfaced on social media as a current report. It got millions of views, which caused panic among citizens. But in a swift reaction, the authority concerned cleared the air. One can only imagine the impact of such misinformation. Statistics from reputable sources like Statista, Global Social Media Examiner, Global Web Index, among others, show that about 4.62 billion people use the social media daily.
Without social media, no information for you.
I basically do make content, so yeah, regularly.
I actually use the social media frequently.
With traffic on various social media platforms every second, experts say misuse can have grave consequences on unity and peaceful coexistence in Nigeria, as the country draws its strength from ethnic and religious diversity. Lagos is a melting pot of cultures, ethnicities, as well as religions, and misuse of social media can threaten harmony in the state.
You know, Lagos is a highly populated area, so when there's that fake news, it spreads very quickly through social media, and it could lead to exacerbation of religious and ethnic tension.
I think one of the best ways to counter false information is by having the right information, having someone to be able to debunk the information and say, okay, this was wrong and this was right. Having to be able to prove that to a wide audience helps to pass the message across more.
Since social media is not all doom and gloom, authorities concerned are advocating usage to promote unity and peaceful coexistence.
Stories from Lagos Nationwide continues in Abuja with Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Hingino. And still on the media, responsible media usage and adherence to democratic principles are crucial to preventing election-related violence in Nigeria. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf emphasized this in his message to participants at a three-day workshop on managing pre- and post-election violence in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Traditional and religious leaders, local government directors of personnel management, political parties and local council chairmanship contestants have gathered for a three-day workshop in Kano. Ahead of the October 26 local council polls, the workshop aims to tackle the causes of election-related violence and create strategies for preventing conflicts both before and after the polls. The event is organized by the Kano State Government and focuses on promoting a credible, peaceful and transparent electoral process at the grassroots level. Representing Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, Deputy Governor Aminu Abdusalam emphasized the need for peace and stability throughout the electoral period. He highlighted the role of responsible media usage in fostering democracy and promoting harmony.
The role of the media, especially social media, cannot be underestimated. In today's election, it can also be misused to propagate falsehoods and incite violence.
He expressed confidence that this initiative will set a precedent for violence-free elections in Kano State, reinforcing public trust in the democratic process at the local level. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress has won all 21 chairmanship positions and 239 councillorship positions in the local government elections held on Saturday. This was announced by the chairman of the Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission. Jonathan Omajali brings us details.
The announcement of results took place around 10 p.m. on Saturday night at the office of the State Independent Electoral Commission, following delays in receiving results from some remote local government areas. A total of 21 chairmanship and 239 councillorship positions were contested, with the All Progressives Congress winning all of them. The Commission's chairman, Mama Ndairi, stated that the councillorship results were declared at the ward level, while the chairmanship results were announced at the local government headquarters.
I want to reiterate the fact that the results have already, the winners have been declared already at the wards for the councillors, and for the chairmanship, the results, the winners have been declared at the local government headquarters. So what I'm doing here is just the compendium of what we have as the result in a whole.
He expressed his appreciation to the people of Kogi State and other stakeholders involved in the election. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, chairmen of political parties have joined United Nations Women to unveil a task team to monitor the implementation of commitments, validation of terms of reference, and as well as draft an action plan to further advance efforts towards gender equity in politics ahead of the 2027 general elections. Timothy Yusuf reports on the event held in Abuja.
Confirmed stakeholders gathered here believe that Nigeria faces significant challenges in achieving gender equality in political representation, with women observed in being underrepresented in political structures despite the country's national gender policy and commitments to international agreements.
And we hope that the outcome of this meeting would lead to even greater results that ensures that women are properly included in politics and better society at large.
To address this, a high-level dialogue in September 2023 led to the endorsement of the Nigerian Women Demand Charter by all political parties.
We urge all critical stakeholders to join us in this commitment as we work together to promote gender sensitive policy and programs with the ultimate aim of increasing women's representation in leadership positions across board.
Let us work together towards a future where women are not only participants but also leaders in our democracy.
This task team has the sole mandate to monitor gender consideration for the implementation of Charter of Demands for women participation in politics, with ceremonial signing of commitment to support women leadership and political participation going forward. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
For more reports, let's join Jenny in Port Harcourt.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Residents of Rivers State have stressed the need to pay closer attention to policies that will promote agricultural prosperity in view of the need to achieve adequate food supply and effective diversification of the economy. Joy Uzo, who sampled their opinion, has details.
Blessed with vast arable land, a conducive weather condition that promotes farming and a water
We sincerely apologize for that hitch. Hopefully, we will return to Port Harcourt, hopefully. Now, moving on, the Nigerian Army will continue to utilize and sustain the advancements in indigenous research and development with focus on addressing the nation's current security challenges. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Lagwaja, gave the charge at the closing ceremony of the exercise Volcan Glow 2024 held in Kachia, Kaduna State. Haruna Mohammed reports.
It is the Nigerian Army's firepower display exercise Volcan Glow 10, an annual training aimed at honing the skills of artillery personnel in both conventional and unconventional warfare. This year's exercise, with the team integration of emerging technologies into training for enhanced fire support to the Nigerian Army operations in a joint environment, is focusing on addressing evolving security challenges through modernized training and technology. Chief of Training for the Nigerian Army, Major General Sani Mohammed, conveyed the message of the Chief of Army Staff.
Exercise therefore provides a good opportunity for the participating formations and units to sharpen their skills, knowledge and expertise in the conduct of artillery tactics, techniques and procedures.
He applauded the Artillery Corps for their innovative approaches and successful integration of new technologies into operations across the country, as the Army is poised to modernization of its platforms. Part of activities of the exercise Volcan Glow 10 2024 is the pulling out of 15 artillery major and brigadier generals out of active service. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
To air safety, to ensure its level of preparedness to respond to emergency situations, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has conducted a mock exercise at the Sultan Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto. The drill is to enable airport staff and emergency responders plan efficiently and effectively to handle various scenarios of aircraft incidents and disasters. Sadia Umar Digi reports.
Stakeholders involved in the mock exercise include staff of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, National Emergency Management Agency, Fire Service, Red Cross, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as medical personnel from the Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital, Sokoto, among others. The biennial simulation exercise is aimed at improving response time, identifying gaps, and ensuring conformity with aviation regulatory requirements by enhancing collaborations among airport staff and emergency responders.
We need to test from time to time the ability of our personnel, our equipments, in order to be able to attend to any emergency that might occur.
It's a simulation that we normally carry out after every two years to test the capability of our firefighting equipment, our communication radios.
After this exercise, we'll make a kind of a semi-training for our in-house training, so that area where we discover the lapses, we can be able to correct it.
The mock exercise is coming at a time when the Nigerian Air Force is making preparations to operationalize its Sokoto unit in Sokoto. Sadia Umadigi, NTA News.
Let's talk education. Nasarawa State Government is evolving a sustainable framework to address unwholesome practices in schools across the state to pave way for a robust and conducive teaching and learning environment. The Commissioner for Education, John Maman, disclosed this while inaugurating grievance redress committees for schools in the state. Bilkisu Gurku reports.
Recent studies indicate a growing concern of unwholesome practices in many schools in the country, ranging from unethical behaviors by staff and students to bullying of students and immorality, amongst others. The committees are to serve as some sort of command and control, where such issues emanating from schools are not just addressed, but prevented from occurring.
All the trainees should make maximum use of the opportunity here and step down the programs down the ladder.
You are going back more equipped and capacitated to handle these issues professionally.
The grievance redress mechanism and administrative officer at the National Project Coordinating Unit, Imrims Emmanuel, explained that there is a high premium attached to the initiative, given its potential to restore sanity to areas where it is lacking.
We don't want a situation where the project within the time frame is stopped or disturbed for any reason whatsoever.
Some of the facilitators and members of the committees avert that the hallmark of the initiative is fairness, devoid of any form of sentiments. Stakeholders believe that the program will go a long way in addressing disciplinary challenges in undating schools in some parts of the state. In Lafia, Bilkisu Umar Gurku, NTA News.
Emir of Bauchi, Rwano Sulaiman Adamo, has reaffirmed the unwavering commitment of traditional rulers in the state to work with other stakeholders towards addressing the challenge of out-of-school children in the state. This was during a one-day state-level consultative meeting on the 2024-2025 enrollment drive campaign for out-of-school children in Bauchi State. Awal Abdullahi reports.
Statistics indicate that there are about 680,000 out-of-school children in Bauchi State. The event, organized by Bauchi State Universal Basic Education Board in collaboration with Council of Traditional Leaders and UNICEF Bauchi Field Office, to strategize toward ensuring the success of the campaign. Speakers at the occasion also emphasized on the need to ensure quality education through the provision of adequate structures and learning materials. They made a case for parents and community to play their part towards restoring the lost glory of education in the state.
So our student education, which is pragmatic and fully harnessed, is one way toward the development and progress of our nation.
I'm very, very impressed by the contribution of the government and traditional institutions for education and the work for children, for children's rights. It's immaculate pleasure for me to see this involvement.
Whatever we do, if we engage the areas, things will work well and definitely we will succeed.
The meeting also discussed vandalization of school structures, inadequate legislations, and lack of well-trained teachers and other challenges bedeviling the education sector with a view to finding lasting solution to them. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
And we can now return to Jenny in Port Harcourt for some reports.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Residents of Rivers State have stressed the need to pay closer attention to policies that will promote agricultural prosperity in view of the need to achieve adequate food supply and effective diversification of the economy. Joy Uzo, who sampled their opinion, has details.
Blessed with vast arable land, a conducive weather condition that promotes farming, and a water body endowed with nature's best in fisheries and other aquatic animals spread across the 23 local government areas, Rivers State is among many states of the Federation that prides itself with the wherewithal to thrive economically, both locally and on the international market.
In as much as the federal government is saying that they want to support non-oil export, the state government should key into that. Our national plan should make sure that from the local government, federal government, and to the state governments, each local government in Nigeria has something that we are known for.
Our production capacity as a nation, the manufacturing sector is adding less than 6% to GDP. So that tells you that, yes, though we are an import-dependent country, but at this time we've not been able to fix the things we need to fix to enable us catch in on our resources.
Low investment in harnessing the potentials of agriculture and other mineral resources away from oil is, however, being viewed as a major constraint, necessitating a wake-up call to relevant authorities.
Some months ago, last year, a seed of pepper, how much? Very expensive. Onions you can't buy. But if we can train this youth, we can grow so many things.
If we all go into one form of agriculture or the other, in fact, there will be food sufficiency for the family first, before the state and the country.
A reorientation in governance, especially at the grassroots, where critical attention is paid to effectively harness the rich potential spread across the state, experts reiterate is achievable. It's in Port Harcourt. Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Unlike hypertensive patients who receive treatment for protection against possible cardiovascular diseases, only a minority of patients with a bone disease, medically known as osteoporosis, will be diagnosed and may receive treatment to protect against this potentially devastating and life-threatening disease. World Osteoporosis Day, observed annually on October 20, therefore serves as a reminder that maintaining healthy bones is key to an active and independent future. Jide Beronia now brings us details.
Osteoporosis, often referred to as the silent disease, is a condition characterized by weakened and fragile bones. These bones are more susceptible to fractures, and the risk increases as the bone density decreases. This condition mostly affects the bones in the hip and the wrist of the spine. Unfortunately, osteoporosis often goes unnoticed until a fracture occurs, making early detection and prevention crucial for survival. Experts say because of the asymptomatic nature of this bone disorder, it is essential for people to take care of their bones to prevent complications related to bone fractures.
The maximum age bone strength is attained at the age of 30 years. Yes, anything from then, the bone strength begins to wane. So the problem with osteoporosis is that the bone becomes prone to fractures.
The theme for the 2024 World Osteoporosis Day is Say No to Fragile Bones. It aims to encourage people to value and protect their bones and raise awareness of the importance of prevention, diagnosis, and treatment.
Bone health is like a savings account. What you put in your younger years is what you're going to get as you're aging or when you're old. If you put in good protection, eat the right foods, you'll get it right. But if you don't do any of these things, I'm afraid you're dropping down to osteoporosis, and the fact is that the bones can easily fracture.
Health Watchers retreat that taking early action for osteoporosis prevention through bone-healthy nutrition, regular physical activity, and avoidance of negative lifestyle like smoking should be adopted to nip the disease in the bud. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onyia, NTA News.
And those are the reports from here nationwide. We'll continue with Elizabeth in Abuja after this break.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Activities marking the 90th birthday celebration of former head of state General Yakubu Gowon have climaxed with a banquet in his honor at the State House. Attended by many eminent Nigerians from across the country, it was used to pay tribute to the man fondly referred to as a beacon of peace. Kelvin Eunwaye was there.
90 looked good on him. An elated General Yakubu Gowon acknowledging cheers from family members and associates. A gift to the nation, as President Bola Tinubu described him in a message delivered by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and echoed by former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
General Yakubu Gowon, you are a remarkable figure in Nigeria's history and a testament to resilience, humility, and visionary leadership.
My prayer is that you will celebrate 100. And sir, I will be there.
Earlier at a Thanksgiving to honor the celebrant at the National Christian Center, the primate of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Henry Udkaba challenged Nigerians to rededicate themselves to the goals of nation building, anchored on peaceful coexistence that General Yakubu Gowon has strived for all his life.
I must admit, what I have done or what I have achieved cannot be achieved by, it is not my own doing alone, but it is the support of all the people of this country.
In Abuja, Kelvin Eunwaye, NTA News.
In acknowledgement of his sustained commitment to the peace and unity of Nigeria, a grateful nation rose in unison to celebrate one of its former leaders, General Yakubu Gowon, as he turns 90. At a special Thanksgiving service to honor the former head of state, Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, says his unwavering devotion to Nigeria offers hope on the future of the nation. State House correspondent Adeni Itaiwo reports.
At 32, General Yakubu Gowon came into national and international reckoning as Nigeria's head of state. Today at 90, strong, healthy and impactful, he is in God's presence, joined by former and serving leaders to offer thanks. It was a day to recall the virtues General Gowon stood for, and Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, highlight his simplicity and patriotism.
Looking back, I realized that your life is a life destined by God, who called you to be an exemplary leader of good in this world of cynicism and despair. Your life of simplicity, humility, grace, dignity, and patriotism to our nation gives us hope that Nigeria is all we have, and we have to do everything in our power to make it work. Your love for country is infectious.
Thanking the celebrant on behalf of the President and the nation, the First Lady notes that his special touch on leadership offers a lot of lessons.
The greatest commandment is loving God, loving our neighbors, and all as we love ourselves. that on these two commandments hang the laws and the prophets. You have both loved this nation, the people, and taught us all how to be contented, humble, reliable, gracious, available, and show love to all. We are grateful.
Basking in the celebration, General Yakubu Gowon urged Nigerians to continue to pray for the country.
We kept Nigeria together, and all Nigerians assisted me, all Nigerians from all parts of the country assisted me to keep Nigeria one, and we did it.
From the National Christian Center, Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
And next is Sports Update with Sulaiman Musa. And that's Nationwide this evening. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori.